From a coaching and maybe, a player perspective, I mean, whether it's we in the media or fans, we love these rivalry games. They get promoted that way. But as a coach and maybe going back to your days as a player, do you view those differently, or would you just prefer tomorrow night's game 35 on the schedule?
I mean, obviously with Minnesota, the proximity, we played them exhibition. You play them lots. We've had some physical contests with them over the last couple of years, but I don't put any more emphasis over Dallas, Colorado, Utah. This is a divisional game, and they're sitting right behind us, and we want to grow that gap, point wise. So, it's a big divisional game for us, and I don't think that Minnesota is going to make us change our kind of game plan and how we approach it.
No, not maybe the game plan, but just in terms of the emotional level. So you would prefer then that the emotional level remains steady all the way through then? Is that to interpret it that way?
I hope our emotional level doesn't go up for Minnesota, then it goes down for the next opponent type thing. That needs to be a constant for us. I think anytime you play your divisional rivals, that you see them so often that there is kind of that familiarity and maybe a little bit of dislike that kind of grows into the game. It may not happen in the start. It may happen in the second or third. It may not happen at all. It's just interesting sometimes that you butt heads against some of the same guys all the time, and it has a tendency to fester.
Yeah, just one on Brenden Jagger. I don't know if you reached out to him or not, but what was your thought process when you heard about that, and what were some of the things you saw in camp that you thought, this makes a lot of sense?
Yeah, it's a great honor to be captain of Team Canada, and we talked when he left to go back to junior after training camp here, and that was one of the things we had mentioned to him about not only his play going back there and being the best player on his team, and I know he got recently traded, but the other side was when he was going to get a chance to go play for Team Canada, that you're playing against some of the elite there in junior hockey or college hockey or from around the world, and try to be the best. And now to have that responsibility of being captain, that's an honor, and something for him to kind of grasp and be proud of, and hopefully they have great success.
When you look at the tape of the last couple of games, it's probably obvious what you didn't do well, but have you put your finger on why?
Last couple of games?
Yeah, the starts.
The starts you're talking
especially. Yeah. Whatever you didn't do well.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that I don't know if you guys have seen the standings. We are number one in the league. I don't know if you noticed that, but teams are ready for us, and they're coming out hard. We have talked about it, and we do need to be better from the start of games ourselves. We got to get up. We can't wade into games. We can't chase games early and maybe rely on our goaltenders to make big stops. We have to be better. That's an area that we do need to improve on, that we have to get out of the gate early. We did it against Boston. I think that was something that helped us in that game, just going back a couple. But at the end of the day, if you give teams momentum, teams are prepared for us, and we have to make sure that we come out and make it a little bit easier on ourselves. If they're expecting us to come out and play like a top team, let's do it, and maybe we win a hockey game in the first period like we did earlier in the year.
Early in the year, you guys, probably the number of handoff shifts was sky high. It seemed like one would pass to the next. Are you seeing enough of that? And then if not, I guess what does it take to make it happen?
Yeah, those are momentums, right? And I thought last game against Anaheim, they had 4 shifts in a row against all 4 of our lines where we got stuck in our end, or there was a rush coming the other way, and that's exactly the type of thinking and thought that we have to have, is that we come out in the first period and we do that one right after the other. And you're right, that's a part of our success, is that we steamroll people. We keep coming at them. We get them on their heels, force them to make mistakes. Right now, these last few, we're sitting, waiting, or not waiting. We're sitting we're absorbing that same kind of look. So our mentality going into games has to be our preparation, physically, mentally, emotionally. That all has to be ready to go when that puck drops. And we got a couple before the break here, 2 games ago, that we need to have good starts against both these teams, because these are really good teams. And starting with Mini, that we can't be coming out slow. We can't give them 5-6 quality scoring chances in the first period, or it's going to be a long night.
Trying to keep in perspective, like you said, you are first place in the league. You set literal records for the best start, and probably since December it's been just a little over 500. So a slide for some teams is, you drop 5-6 in a row. This has not happened here, and we sort of know that. Still, we sort of try to do the, why did winning all the time turn into this sort of game? Is there, oh geez, this is a bad pivot. You guys have a lot
Let
of...
me answer the first part.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So, we're 22-10-1. If we had started 9-6 and got ourselves to this, how would we feel? How would we be looking at it? We're looking at the fact that right now we're 5-4-1 in our last 10. Colorado's 6-4. Dallas is 6-4. Minnesota's 6-4. That's ours. That's what we're zooming in on right now. Feels great to be sitting in first place, but that is not our goal. We got to win this division first and foremost, and then whatever happens moving forward. There has been sputters along the way. We had a 4-game losing streak, and it was like, the earth shattered, and teams go through it. And we knew that it wasn't going to be roses all the way through, but we've gotten better in this last 10, in my opinion. We've played better. Yes, we should have won a couple of games that didn't go our way, especially late when we had leads late in games or tied late in games. But I just think that, it's just like I mentioned when we were 15-1. This is a long year. This is a lot of games, and we still had a lot to cover. And we're at game 35, and still a lot of work ahead of us here. Still going through the grind of everything that comes with this schedule. So, I know it's easy to say, but it's perspective. We're into this Minnesota. That's it. That's all. We're off this trip out west. We're into Minnesota again. We win tomorrow. All right, we're feeling a lot better about how we kind of are moving along here and takes momentum into Toronto.
Last one on that topic, no long preamble. Did the consistency of lines, consistency of 5-on-5 play help you get the jump on teams early?
Yeah, you know what? The thing that the tad difference for us right now is that the 55 line might be going, and maybe the 7 line's going. I better use names, sorry. Scheif's line might be going, and Vladdy's line might be going, and maybe Lowry and Kupari's might not be, or Lowry's line's going, the Masikov line, and before 4 were going. Probably back to your original question, the wave, one after the other, after another. We need to get where all 4 are up and running, where all 4 are looking alike, all 4 are like making hay each and every shift and creating chaos and forcing opposition. Right now it's been a little bit of everybody kind of one night on, one night off, and that's kind of the consistency, shift to shift, game to game that we're hoping and looking for.
So tell us about Logan Stanley and David Gustafson.
Yeah, Gus just sick. Stan took that shot off his foot, so he won't be. Should be okay to come back after Christmas, but he won't be in these next 2.
And then quickly, why do you think you've had so much success against the Central this year, out of the gate?
You're jinxing everything here. You can't be throwing that in.
I don't have that.
No. It goes back to the original question with Kelly there. The familiarity, the sort of contempt that you have, there's that. How important those games are. The way the playoffs are set up. You've got to get. Obviously, you don't want to have to go around the back way and come back in. If you can get in your division, that's the best part, the best way of doing it. Home ice advantage, all those things. So I know that's for game after game 82, but for us, winning in your division, being good in your division, because you see those teams so often, those are big points.
I know it's got to be a next guy up mentality, and you can't dwell on guys who are out of the lineup. But can you, without giving a built-in excuse, could you give us an idea of the importance of Dylan Samberg as it's been revealed with him out of the lineup?
Well, the biggest thing is that the minutes have gone up as much as. Sammy went from being a 14-minute guy to a 20, 21-minute guy from last year, and then growing through training camp and into the season. We've had guys that minutes have gone, way up. Hayden's minutes. Hayden hasn't played this much, in a long time, let alone in the last couple of years, and that just drives up Stan's minutes, drives up, whether it's Philly or Millsy. Everybody has to sort of take on more of a role, and that's just kind of the sort of what happens. And like you said, next man up. It also puts a big strain on your top, with Mel, P, Mo. Those guys are playing big. So it's a grind. But at the end of the day, and that's the depth we talked about. When we talked about free agency, we didn't have a whole lot of guys running to come to Winnipeg, but we did stockpile try to really stockpile in certain areas, whether it was forwards, whether it's different kind of forwards, whether it was our D, specifically our D, that we felt we had a lot more depth than we've had in the past. And I had started first day of training camp where we lost 2 guys, and we've had to rely on our depth, and that's kind of what we're doing right now.
And are there specifics of Sandberg's game that are particularly difficult to overcome the loss of?
Well, I think he's just he's become a top 4 defenseman, and those guys just don't follow the trees. He's learned how to become that, and him and Pionk, their chemistry was so good together, and he's one of our elite penalty killers. And so there's a big piece that comes out of your lineup when one of those top 4 guys go out.
Scott, not looking for specifics, but just more from an educational process. With the roster freeze now in effect, I mean, you got 6 healthy defensemen for tomorrow night, but are there, I guess, waivers in the roster freeze?
You can bring guys up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can bring guys up. That's not, you still not, you can't send them down.
Gotcha.
That's what you had to make your move yesterday.
Yep.
So.
Is there anything new with Sandberg's timeline, or no? You said
I think he might be skating on the 27th, supposedly. We'll see. So we'll get there. So.